Hello everyone, my name is Michael and I'm speaking to you from the verse. Now if you're not sure what the verse is, I encourage you to go to my website at rewritingtheverse.com, and that's where you can find out all about the verse. There are many updates, all of the YouTube channel videos are on there, so I invite you to go back and check out all that's been written about. Many of the videos actually are documentation of past life regressions that I've done. I am a past life regressionist and rewriter, so that means when I look over a past life regression, if it's warranted, I have the ability to go in and rewrite the outcomes. And many of the videos that I've done over this past year have been just that, working with timelines, especially those with divine counterparts, twin flames, divine masculine, divine feminine, specifically looking at those timelines and lifting us up through the various portals based on that energy lift. I do believe this actually, this video is actually about those groups as well, because those are the people that will make up a vast majority of the beings that I'm going to talk about today. But this is going to be a different type of video. We will not be doing a past life regression. I was willing to do that, looked forward to doing that, and was not called to do that. This video is specific to the 12/21/2020 winter solstice slash major significant conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter, all happening on the same day. And technically it is the 21st where I'm at. I'm here in Central Time, USA. And pardon me, dealing with, still getting over some throat issues that I've had for the last several weeks, which is why, in part at least, why I didn't post anything for the 12/12/2020 date. But even then, I was feeling this particular portal being, well, overshadowing it, quite honestly. But again, I wasn't physically able to do it. And through that time, I was actually getting activated, and whatever other things were going on with my body to prepare me, probably for this very moment. It is approximately, let me check the time here, I've got to keep an eye on it. It's almost 3:50 a.m. On the 21st, 12/21/2020. And the official time here in Central Time that the solstice will occur is at 4:02 a.m. I believe. So that's why I'm going to keep a close eye on the time here, because they instructed me to do this live with you, basically go through the portal with you on this video. So, well, I can't tell you, I knew that I was supposed to be on here at this time until a few hours ago. I was sleeping and I'll tell you, I woke up from a very interesting dream, and it makes sense now based on what I'm supposed to talk to you about tonight. That it was a dream connected to a lady that I know, but not somebody I know very well, and certainly not somebody I really have in my life right now. But she's an elderly lady, and I always found her to be a pleasant person, and so for her to play the role that she plays in this dream is different. In the dream, she and I were in a roommate situation, and apparently things were okay until at one point, which is the dream. Sorry, my voice is gonna be scratchy. In the dream, she's absolutely, basically going crazy, wanting me to get out. I had violated some agreement that we supposedly had, and just absolutely going crazy for me to leave. And even though it was clear I needed to leave, I definitely didn't want to leave without all my things. I mean, I was on the lease too or whatever, so I had every right to get my things together. And she was just doing everything, including trying to make it look like I was trying to harm her, whatever. Basically, so I would abandon everything and lose everything. And I did my best in the dream to try to deal with her and try to still get my things. And I even had a friend that witnessed all of this in the dream. And so I felt like I had at least somebody there to offset what she's going to tell people that I was doing. And yet in the end, it was clear that because of her age, because again, she was very likable, that people would just assume that whatever she told them was the truth, and that I was ultimately going to be made out as a bad guy and lose pretty much everything, including my credibility. So I woke up from that dream actually pretty perplexed, like that was unusual. And then as I was trying to process the dream, the word Thessalonian kept being put into my mind. And I'm like, okay, well, I do know they're connected to the Bible, but that's about all I knew about that group. And so, so I had to get online and see what they were trying to convey to me. And even when you put it in Wikipedia, it doesn't identify the Thessalonians as an independent group. They find out the history about. The only reference is the letters from Apostle Paul to them. He wrote at least 2 that are referenced in the Bible, apparently. But that's all it says about them. So I was like, okay, what am I supposed to understand here? Why was I led to this? And I believe I'm supposed to basically give you a similar message that Paul gave to the Thessalonians in those 2 letters that he wrote. And I'm just going to paraphrase, and I'm not going to say in any way that I'm an expert on any of this. But this is what I believe they had me go to have an understanding of why I'm sharing right now on this most momentous occasion and portal. So let me check the time. Again, I have to keep track here. Okay, we've got about 7 minutes till it's officially time. At that moment, we will, basically feel the energy and go through the portal together. But this is what ultimately got me awake, got me online to look at what they were talking about with the letters from Paul. And I do want to say that this recording has nothing to do with Christianity as far as here to preach the Gospels or any of that. What I will say is, especially we're going to talk about specifically the Christ timeline here in a minute. That was only one of many incarnations. I know there's lots of talk out there about, Christ came once, maybe twice in history. Him and his whole soul group have been here many a times, over aeons of time. Different forms, some documented, some not. But please, I'm only using this as a reference point as to what it is that my guides are asking me to convey to you. And your guides, if you're watching this, you need to hear this message too for some reason. So, yeah, and I have to keep an eye on the time. Okay, so the Thessalonians were apparently one of the groups that Paul went out and preached to. Apparently they were located in what's northern Greece at this time. That's where they were located, and they were one of the groups that Paul and his people had gone out and preached to and had formed some sort of a church or a following up there. And these letters, he wasn't there at the time apparently, so he needed to correspond with these people, were encouraging them to persevere in the face of persecution. Obviously, Christianity was very early at that time and wasn't necessarily looked on positively by a lot of their surrounding people, so there was persecution. There was also apparently needing some clarity about when the second coming was going to happen. And those are the 2 points that I believe I'm supposed to talk a little bit about with you about now. Literally now, in this day and age, at this portal. Okay? Like I said, Jesus and all the people involved with him throughout his lifetime, in that lifetime, all their souls are here. Right now. And I would say not just to one group. I do believe, the universe is very efficient. Why would you put all your eggs in one basket? And if that one basket doesn't quite reach the mark, then, we have to wait another 2,000 years before we can try again. No, The universe is way more efficient than that. So there are multiple groups and multiple aspects of these same souls grouped together around the world and probably beyond in other scenarios, okay? Those people are being called forth again. Now, for those of you that are part of that group, you've been feeling it. Now, you don't have to be one of the main players to feel it. If you had anything to do with this soul group, you feel them coming forward again. You feel yourself being called into action again. Now, I would say I'm one of those people. I have felt it, especially over the last year. Getting ready and feeling like, okay, it's about time. It's been a long time waiting to do what I feel like I really came here to do. Yeah, I've done some other important things, but man, this is what I've been playing for right here. And all year long, it's been one block after another, personally, and I believe globally, for all the players, for all the people that are here to once again come in and lift humanity, bring in the love energy and stand for humanity's growth. And we've hit a brick wall over and over again this last year. I'm sure you all have your bumps and bruises from this last year to prove it. But at some point, something has to give, because we can't keep hitting a brick wall. We have about less than 4 minutes now before the portal officially is open. So I know it's tested my faith. Probably it's tested a lot of your faith. Is this ever going to move? I feel it. It calls to me. It's in my blood. But man, everything is working against this opening up. Well, Paul talks about the second coming. And I'm not sure, I'm probably not going to be able to get into the details of that before we start to go through. What I did say is that these souls have come together over and over and over again in various time periods, etc. So are we waiting for the second coming? No. We're probably waiting for the 280th coming, or whatever number this may be, of coming together once again to play this game of leveling up humanity. And the term now would be helping them through the ascension process. This is huge. This is what they've always come here for, and we're at the precipice again right now. So actually I'm going to basically stop the talking, because there's more. I had to make some notes. There were lots of things. We will talk more after the portal officially is open. We've been feeling this energy. Has it been opening? Yes. But this is the moment where, with the solstice officially being in full alignment, with this massive conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter, that is a very rare conjunction indeed, especially in the variation that we're seeing right now. So we're about to, it's less than 2 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and quiet down here a little bit and let the energy lift, and you're going to go through this with me, and whatever you feel will be perfect. But I know that this is the official start, or at least the gates are opening for the new world, the platform on which these souls will be able to finally come together again and play out what they've always been called to do. Less than 1 minute. And that energy is opening up right now. The portal is in full alignment. Okay, the energy is really coming in strong here. So just let whatever is going through you, let yourself feel it. So, kind of shaky here. My voice is a little shaky. That was a gate, basically. It had been locked up until this very moment. It's a gate that both light and dark have known about for ages. And this was a big one. There's been other gates and other variations, but this was a biggie. Is a biggie. And both light and dark knew about this, and both felt the crunch, and both knew that they had to get whatever advantage they could this last year. Because, boy, the dark side did not want that gate to open. Because they know they lose all control at that point. As long as that gate could remain closed, and as long as those of us that were being called into higher action, called into living out our destinies and leading humanity to its freedom, as long as that was blocked, they could stay in power. And they have pulled out all the stops this last year. And yes, the big threat from this last year was one of their attempts, one of their biggest attempts, visibly anyway, to stopping us and keeping our vibrations low, keeping us in fear, keeping us feeling hopeless, picturing a future of lockdowns. That's exactly what we've been in. A lockdown. But it's open now. They weren't able to stop the light. And when I say the light, I want to be very clear. I'm not talking about a certain religion. I basically incorporate anybody that stands for freedom, stands for especially humanity, to be treated fairly, to be allowed to ascend to where they're capable of getting to. Anybody who's supporting that and working actively to help with that process, I consider the light at this moment. And a lot of people have talked about the term New Earth, which I believe is now available to us fully. Again, I think we've felt it. I think we've been trying to put a toe in it, trying to create things to pursue that. But I don't think we could build anything through a gate. It had to be opened. It had to be opened. And now that it's open, and they can't close it again, they can't lock it again, it's too late. It's too late. Probably one of the reasons I couldn't record this until right when it happened, because of, I gave you even maybe a day's heads up. Whatever. It just could have alerted them to something. Whatever the case is, it's too late. So I'm going to continue down my list of things to talk about it, but it's all related to what just happened. All of this timing is about this portal. So I was starting to talk about the second coming that Paul alluded to in one of the letters to the Thessalonians. Basically, in his words to them, because I guess there was a question about exactly when this second coming was going to happen. He said that basically it wasn't going to happen until after the Antichrist was known. Until that person became visible and seen. It couldn't happen until after that. Okay. Well, like I said, I don't believe that Christ had only come one or two times before, and he's here all the time. And again, actually I want to make clear, again, if you are not familiar with my work, he, she, the gender stuff changes from timeline to timeline. So we're not talking about it necessarily a he or a she. Everybody in the group can be different genders, different players, different roles, whatever, in this scenario. So don't get hung up on the he's and the she's, please. But that, according to Paul, that was at least one of the conditions in that timeline. Okay. Well, what I was told when I read that, because again, I was guided to look up the Thessalonians, they said, that's what's happening right now. And the reason I don't know why they gave me the number 280th, the 280th coming of Christ and his people and his soul group, couldn't fully show itself until the Antichrist was visible. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So that's actually happening right now. Well, this whole year has been about fleshing out a lot of nasty elements, right? So, for a lot of people, they could say, oh, well, I know who that is. There's no doubt that so-and-so, you know, they've been just a thorn in our sides, especially this last year. They need to go. And here's what I'll tell you. The Antichrist will not be the obvious one. The Antichrist tends to come in under the guise of being a hero, taking down the bad element. They come in very, non-threatening, and like they're here to save everybody, probably from that what other people are saying, dark element that's obvious. Those are the people, that person and people behind that person, that are what we've been waiting for. Because now that they're visible, even if they're pretending to be the opposite of what they are, they will be exposed. And now that this gate is open, and now that all of us that have been, me especially, smashed up against that gate, there's that commercial from Mervin's or something. Open, open, open. Oh gosh. I don't know. That's what just came to mind. Oh, I've been up against that gate all year long going, please open, because, well, honestly, it's not just that we couldn't live out our destiny. I believe all of us that are a part of those soul groups have had a real threat this last year. It may not be an obvious physical killing off, but were we in energy of possibly being led to slaughter again? Absolutely. I felt it all year long. And I still feel it. Just because the gate's open doesn't mean that we don't still have those working against us with the same intent as before, is to stop us at all cost. And that was really a strong possibility until now. Now there's other choices, obviously. Now we can come together. And I'm going to say that crazy dream earlier where somebody who appeared very nice and, never would have seemed to be a threat was actually about to be my undoing in that dream. And in this last year, I would say, yeah, people that appear to be working with me, appear to have my best interests at heart, were ultimately working against me, and I felt it. And I'm not even talking that it has to be a certain person. It can be a group of people. In fact, for me, it was more of a group of people that I felt like I tried my best to work with them. I'm still trying my best to work with them because I have to. But that doesn't mean in the end that they weren't going to be my downfall. Because that's who they've been for me. Lifetime after lifetime. I felt it. Especially last year when it became obvious to me who they were and what their end means were going to be if I didn't figure out the timeline. It has been a challenge. to heal, to myself, to try to heal the situation so it doesn't recur in a negative timeline like it has so many times in the past. But I can't say it still has not felt very real as a threat to me and my livelihood in this lifetime. And I believe all of us, again, that are in connection with this soul group that is coming together at a whole nother level now. You may already know several of the people that are part of your timeline that have been on this journey with you before, but there are many others that have not become truly visible, or at least not at the level that they will be. So it is time for this group to come together. It is time. I was, okay. So earlier in the week, I was actually doing a tarot reading with one of my friends. We do, whatever, things like that. And when we were getting ready to just kind of open up the conversation, and I reached out to, okay, who wants to be a part of this? I couldn't even get my thought out when the entire room filled up from all the players from the Jesus timeline. Or at least the biggies that you think of from birth, especially because we'll speak about the birth part, because it has been spoken that this solstice and conjunction is actually a recreation of the Christmas star. And I have been told that is true from my guides, that is true. That this is the conjunction, this is the basic vibration that was around the birth of Christ. Okay? So there, whoever is saying that is right. That's just based on what I'm being told, that that's correct. Where was I going with that? Oh, all the characters from the Jesus Christ timeline, but specifically the birth part of it. So we're talking Mother Mary, Joseph, the three kings, very much. I'm still piecing that together. Maybe it'll finally culminate here in this video. Why the three kings seem so important. And I think I got a little bit clearer on that. So the three kings, I'm sure there were some shepherds in there, whatever. But they all just packed into the room immediately. I couldn't even get the thought out. And I'm like, okay, all right. This is who wants to be a part of this, who is a part of this. So this is why this Christmas star energy is activating a whole lot. And we are about to come up to the celebration of Christmas anyway here in the US this coming week. So it ought to be interesting, especially with this gate open now, and knowing that all these aspects of these souls can finally move forward in whatever they're being called to do. We might have some massive movement now, from the light side anyway, now that the gate's open. So yeah, that's who came forward, and that's who we basically found out more about in our tarot reading, and a fuller understanding of that. What came to me tonight, though, about the three kings, knowing that they're from the East, and the East doesn't necessarily mean the Far East. In fact, a lot of people suspect they were just from, a few countries over, maybe, or Iran, Iraq, maybe somewhere over there. But that they were from the East. And again, supposedly the star actually, they had been following it for a while. And supposedly they didn't show up like literally the night that he was born, maybe even a year later or something. But whatever the case is, they followed the star. And why did they follow the star? That's what I was like perplexed about earlier in the week when I did this. Okay, what is it about the three kings that we need to understand? I don't think I really fully get what they were trying to tell me. Tonight when I looked them up, because I thought, okay, they might have been kings, but to be following stars, they had to be astrologers. Something in that arena to be there. So they knew about the alignments of the stars. They knew that there were certain alignments that maybe ushered in powerful souls. But actually there were several prophecies, some listed in the Old Testament even, that gave them hints. But I don't think it's so much about the oh, they're going to be born in Bethlehem, they're going to be born, you know, that kind of thing. I think it's just because they knew in previous alignments, you could count on somebody very powerful coming in. I think that was based more on the stars and them knowing how far back in history that those people would come in during those alignments, and they were looking for that person. So whatever the case is, prophecies, and already knowing that somebody significant was coming in, that's why they were there. That's why they traveled however long they traveled to be there. So I think the Three Kings is letting everybody know that this isn't just based on, you know, oh, Isaiah said this in the Old Testament and a few other things. Yeah, those could have all been predictions. I'm not saying they're not. But the Three Kings were there because they knew the power of the stars, the power of alignments, and that this alignment today, right now, is the same basic alignment that they were following. That they knew something significant was happening. Someone, or I would say the entire group that was connected to Christ, were coming together for another massive mission. So, what I'm being told is this today, especially now that the gates open, means it's time to play again. I am now calling forth every single soul that is a part of this play. It's a play. A play they come and play out every time. What I've been told, though, is that they never got to the third act before, though. Like ever. I don't think. They might get a little farther every time, but the third act is yet to be played out. And I'm declaring, and what I was understanding is that this is the third act. That death energy we felt all year, yeah, they were trying to take us out. They were trying to take us out one way or the other. Again, it doesn't have to be a physical death. Thank goodness, but still, if you kill off a dream, if you kill off somebody's destiny, if you're able to imprison them, imprison a whole planet, so then nobody gets to the third act, nobody gets to live out their destiny because you've successfully shut them down permanently. That's what's happening on this planet. That's what's been happening all year. And people think, oh, it's about the current threat. Oh, all that energy that people have been feeling is way more than this lifetime. This is lifetimes of enslavery, lifetimes of being held back, of falling to the darkness. And that's why it was so precarious. And I'm not saying we're out of the woods by any means. But now we have a whole new world. A whole new world to create in. You have to have tangible something to build on that we have not been able to reach. We had the dreams, we might have had the intentions and even the know-how of what to do, but we could not reach. Okay, this just came in, but I'm going to say it because it's what came in. The promised land. We could almost taste it. But as long as that gate was closed, we would never be able to manifest our destinies. And it has been a hard year. And I'm even saying, for me anyway, it started like over a year ago. So before 2020, that I really felt it start to, the energy start to take hold as far as trying to keep things from moving forward, to really working hard at breaking my spirit, my faith in myself and in the universe. For a lot of people, I think all of that has been tested this last year. Does that make me less of a spiritual person? No. In fact, many people believe that Christ didn't go through a lot of these types of, if you want to call them, temptations or tests because he was so divine. I say no. He had the same concerns, the same fears as everybody else. You felt the pain, okay? By taking that away from him, that doesn't put him higher on a pedestal. The human experience is probably one of the toughest that ever was created. To forget completely about who you are, who you were, who you're meant to be. To be surrounded by darkness and imprisoned in a matrix your entire life. Don't tell me that it doesn't take a very divine being to be able not just to survive, but thrive here. So no, I don't believe that Christ didn't experience any of this. I think he absolutely did. Why else was he out there for 40 days trying to negotiate not to end up on that cross? No. So anyway, so if you had your fears, if you had your doubts, if you had whatever, welcome to the party. But now that the gate is open, now we have a chance. We still have to well, play out the rest of the play. There's a whole third act here that we never, I believe, ever got to play out before. It's exciting. It's nerve-wracking because, well, these are new lines that we may have studied for over and over again, but never got to perform. So it's going to take something to get through this third act. But this is what we came here to do. So we, the Christ soul group, if you want to call them that, are here. Nobody has to be born right now physically. I believe everybody involved is either full-on adult or pretty close to that. So we're not having to wait another umpteen years for somebody to grow up and find their path. Nope. We're here. We know who we are. And if you don't know, you will know. So, let's see my list here. Did I miss anything? Okay, I think I covered everything, but I'm being asked to repeat the Antichrist piece. All right. The Antichrist piece, in my understanding and what I was getting tonight, was that we do know who the Antichrist is. That person is visible now. Now, they have yet to be fully revealed, though, for who they really are and the people behind that person that helped put them in power. So yeah, if you're thinking, oh, it's the obvious one, it's not. It's not. So I think Paul was right as far as a coming, maybe not the second one, but a coming follows the Antichrist coming into view. So, but as that Antichrist is fully exposed and the dark energies around that are fully exposed, it gives momentum, maybe, to those of us who are coming in behind him. Coming in to clean up the mess. That's a big part of it, unfortunately. Can't build on crap. You can't build something pristine and new based on old energies that are really, really outdated and negative. So anyway, there's a lot of cleanup involved, but we're really here to lead, to help show people the way to freedom. And yeah, the love conversation, I think, is always there. Because I believe that's the fundamental energy that at least our current timeline, is based upon. So this is exciting. Almost got a little emotional earlier, just realizing finally have a way out of this prison. not just myself and the people around me, but this entire planet was slated for crucifixion again. Still is, technically. We haven't fully altered that outcome yet, but, you know, before there was no way out. There was no path other than that path. Well, not anymore. Now we can use that same pressure to help get us out there into the world, expose that which needs to be exposed, but ultimately take the hand of humanity and help walk by its side up through the ascension portals. It's time to go home. To go back from wherever we came from. Everybody's a little different, but it doesn't matter. To go home. And to finally play out that third act. That finale that, you know, just think, if Christ had been allowed to live out a long, fruitful life, how much more could he have done? How much more could the people around him have done had they been permitted to play out that third act? That's what's amazing right now. We've never come this far. We've never survived. Not all of us. I'm not saying we all got killed off, but we've always been stopped in some way in the past. And no matter how many times these souls have come together, they're hit very hard with the dark energy. But this time, we unlocked the gate. We unlocked the gate. I just believe that we are clearing it, not going to clear, we are clearing what has always stopped us before. We know who our captors are or were, or we will know if we don't already, and we will be able to walk away powerfully from that outcome and do what we came here to do. So this is a call to action. I believe we've already been activated to some degree for what we're here to do. And there's probably going to be more, but you have already received it. I know I did a couple weeks ago. So we're activated, we're ready. We're ready to run. Run to our destinies. Run to the new earth and the freedom and ascension of humanity. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, peace and joy.